The burning bowl ceremony is something that's flourished in many more places than just Unity, but Unity has kind of adopted it. It's an opportunity at the end of the year or the very beginning of the new year to say, let's review. Let's take a look at our life. What is there in our life that is something that doesn't speed us forward, that doesn't lift us higher? What is it that we're touched to let go as we leave an old year and approach a new? Sometimes we hang on so tightly. Which one of you said because it's comfortable? Did you say that, Tom? Somebody said something. Familiar. We do things sometimes because they're familiar. We may have inherited them decades ago, and we're just still working with them. And they're familiar, and we have comfort with them, but they don't raise us up. So we're going to look at some of those things today. We sometimes have many things that weigh us down, burdens, if you will. Yesterday at Saturday Soul Boost, I put out a little cartoon there that had a fellow with a huge ball of burdens on his back. The question, of course, is why would one want to keep those? But sometimes we do. And today is an opportunity for us to intend that that burden will be light. And we're going to release some things as a result of that. This grasping that we do for whatever it is that's impeding us from moving forward. I was reading a book by Eric Butterworth, one of our great Unity writers, my favorite, and he used a couple of illustrations. One of them was a project in, I believe, Africa, where there was the need to capture monkeys. And to capture monkeys, this is what they did. They made a very heavy bottle with a narrow neck, just a wide enough neck that the monkey could slip its hand into the bottle.
You're bending your neck.
Put some really aromatic and tasty nuts in the bottle, and left the bottles in the area where they wanted to capture the monkeys. Went home, had a good night's sleep. Came back and they found that all the monkeys were, as it were, tethered to their heavy bottle. And you know why? They had reached into that bottle. They had grasped that nut, that tasty nut. And when they went to remove their hand, they wouldn't let go. They wouldn't let go of that nut. So in not letting go, they lost freedom. It was part of an experiment, so they weren't treated badly, but that gives us the idea. Sometimes we hold on to something so tightly that we lose our freedom, that we lose our sense of curiosity, that we lose our sense of purpose. Another illustration similar to that, during the Revolutionary War, when the British were threatening, colonists looked to find out how they could get safety for themselves, how they could be safe. And one of those colonists got a boat. He lived on a river. He said, I'll be safe because when the British come, I'll hop in that boat and I'll row away. I'll be safe. Well, the call came, the British are coming, and he did, in the middle of the night, run down to that boat and hopped in the boat and began to row furiously. After rowing all night, as the dawn broke, he found out he was in exactly the same place as he had started, because he had forgot to unmoor the boat. It was still tied up. This is where we sometimes get stuck, and this is what today we want to work with. We're going to talk about things like habits. What there is, what habit, maybe a pattern that we've had in lifelong. We'll talk about relationships for which we have set no boundaries, or in which we have set no boundaries. Relationships that sometimes are toxic to us. They're making us sick. These are ripe for letting go. We'll talk about grievances, things that we've held against somebody else for a long time. They hold us back. They keep us, as it were, in chains. We are not free. I liked that mantra about fear. Fears hold us back. Fears of a myriad number of things hold us back. And today we let them go. And judgments. So easy to jump on the judgment podium when we see something we don't like. When we see somebody we don't like. When something seems to offend us, we judge. It's those judgments, when we hold on to them, that keep us tethered, keep us moored, and we go no place. So today, we do that. What we're going to do is kind of add our Burning Bowl service to the meditation. We'll put them together so that we can get into the silence. Rick, you mentioned the silence. Get into that silent place where we can know something that we might not ordinarily know, something that's intuitive, that small voice that you were talking about, that you hear. So we will do that, and then we'll move into the actual ceremony of the burning bowl. After the meditation, we're going to give something out to those who are here in person, and have your paper and pencil handy, those of you who are with us virtually online. But let's take a moment now to just breathe, to be quiet, to go into the silence. When you found that quiet place, relish it and realize that it's a place of nurture for you. It's a place of sustenance. It's a place of knowing, of wisdom. So settle in that silent place, listening for that still, small voice. And as you're with me in that silent place, let us all take a moment to review our life. Our life in this last year, this last decade, the last how many ever years, all the way back to your childhood. Just review that. Oh, there's some wonderful high spots. But there's some places where you're stuck, where life is difficult and burdensome. Allow them to come to the surface and face them directly, whatever fear you may have. What are those things for you that impeded you, that stopped you, that kept you stuck. Set those on the side for a moment, acknowledging them and knowing that you have choice not to let them rule in your life any longer. Go back to that silent place, and of the things that came up for you, listen carefully. What is yours to let go of at this time, in this moment, in this end of year time, as we look forward to a new and a different year, not the old story, but a new one. Let that one or two things that came up in your consciousness be those things that you recognize are yours to release at this time. Do you have it? Rick, Betty, whoever's passing out, let us pass out to everyone here in person. And if you're here with us virtually, get that paper and pencil ready. You're going to have a little card that's folded if you're here in person. And you're going to have another very flimsy piece of paper inside that card. Rick is here at the front. That little thin piece of paper. Remember on one side of your card it says, as 2023 comes to a close, I release and let go of the past. What is that what are those things, or one or two things that came to you, that still small voice that said, this is yours, this is your work right now, this is what's there for you to release. Put it on that thin piece of paper. Mark it on the other one if you like as well, so you remember. And then in this quiet moment, there's no rush. Write that on your paper. I'll begin by going to the dissolving bowl, not the burning bowl, first. And you do it as you're led. If you want to continue to spend a little time in the quiet, do that. I'm going to read a few things while you're coming. But take that which is yours to do, yours to release, and come release it so that it dissolves. It is no more for you. I'll begin and follow as you are led. Holy. I lay my burdens down. I release and I let go. What I release has no power over me. I release and I let go. There is nothing to fear. I release and I let go. I remember who I am. I release and I let go. I am transformed by the renewing of my mind. I release and I let go. I am still and I know. I release and I let go. In this present moment, I release and I let go. I claim the peace that passes understanding. I release and I let go. All things work together for good. I release and I let go. I am light. I release and let go to be that light. I am love, love in action perhaps, and I release that I may be that love. I am power. I release my weakness and let go. I have released. I have let go. If you're with us virtually, what you wrote on that one piece of paper or on the paper, though you're not here to put it in a dissolving bowl, perhaps you can burn it in the fireplace, bury it in the backyard. Some way of making it in the past and leaving it in the past. So now we begin to turn to the affirmation we've been working with, releasing, denying, letting go. On the card I've handed out, there is two words on one side, I am. Tom, if we can go on to, just skip the one next slide and go on to the final one of mine. Some of these things are the 12 powers, spiritual attributes. These are other divine attributes. Pick one. Kind of the other side of what you've just let go. And affirm that. If it's a relationship, you might choose love. It's a difficult situation, you might choose peace. If it's a puzzling situation, you might choose understanding, or any of those, or another divine attribute. That's just kind of the flip side of what is your work in letting go. Choose that one word and write that on your card. And if you're with us virtually, write I am and then blank. You fill in the blank. Take that home with you. It's a card. You can kind of stand it up where you can see it easily or tack it to a bulletin board. And this week, I challenge you to work with that card and that divine attribute that you're claiming, because it is in your nature. For me, it's wisdom. I am wisdom. And for you, each of you as a unique creature, as Rick told us, in our uniqueness, it's going to be a little different for us right now. So write that divine attribute on the card and live with it this week. Next week, we're going to have a white stone ceremony, another ceremony, 2 in a row. And that's going to take that basic affirmation that we want and move it on, move it even forward more. But for this week, just sit with that one simple affirmation, claiming your divinity, claiming that which is in your nature to be. So as we now are forward-looking, I want to raise my hand in blessing for each of you, online, in person. Blessing on you who have intended to rise up, to move forward. Blessing on you who struggle a bit with letting something go. Blessing on you who are divine children, worthy of all of the heritage that the divine has to give. And so it is.